before Alex Ovechkin became the star left wing and captain of the Washington Capitals, drawing thousands of fans wherever he went. Before he won the Hart Memorial Trophy 3 times and the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy for most goals 5 times with over 800 career goal points. Or he would smash rookie records and be named Rookie of the Month and Offensive Player of the Month, only the 3rd in history to receive both honors at the same time. Before Ovechkin was given the key to the city by Washington Mayor Adrian Fenty for being the first MVP in the area since Joe Theismann. Before he incurred the wrath of Don Cherry after he indulged in a blatant celebration of his 50th goal on the ice. Andrew Ovechkin grew up on the outskirts of Moscow in a family full of athletes. His Olympian mother and his pro soccer playing father set the foundations of great leadership and athletic ability, but were too busy to invest time in their son's hockey. It was his older brother Sergei that actually spotted the real talent in his young brother and would make sure he did everything he could to encourage it. Proving his skill early on for the Moscow Dynamos, Alex was set to move up a tier in their system in 2000 when tragedy struck. Sergei had died in a car accident, leaving Alex without his greatest supporter and his mentor. My name is Todd Shapiro. You're looking at me going, who is Todd Shapiro? I'm a friend of Michael McCrudden's, he's my man, and the reason why I'm here is because I've partied with Alex, so I'm going to document Alex Ovechkin before he was famous. And thank you, Michael, for letting me do so.
No problem, buddy.
Alexander Mikhailovich Ovechkin was born on September 17, 1985 in Moscow, Russia. He's the son of a well-known Soviet-era athletes, yet 2 of them. His mother, Tatiana Ovechkina, a winner of 2 Olympic gold medals with the Russian women's basketball team in 1976 and 1980, and then his father, Mikhail, who was a professional soccer player. Alex's older brother, Sergei, would become a champion wrestler. And they had a 3rd boy, Mikhail, who was named after their father. Ovechkin's childhood was pretty modest. Not long after his birth, he moved with his family to the outskirts of Moscow, making a home in a tall, high-rise building that was surrounded by, unfortunately, a crumbling neighborhood. To escape his surroundings and his strict public school, Ovechkin turned to hockey. He poured everything he had into the sport. Absolutely everything. 2 years old when he first picked up a hockey stick, and when he saw a game on television, he would drop everything he was doing and soak it up. Basically, glued to the television set. And if his parents wanted to change the channel, too bad. Ovechkin would throw a fit, and even a 2-year-old Ovechkin throwing a fit would do some damage. So you know what? It was not happening. I get that. I mean, I was a guy who had mini sticks and I was shooting pucks at myself watching Hockey Night in Canada, and I loved it. I was a hockey guy. I thought I was going to be in the pros too, but I suck. I mean, I don't suck that. Put it this way, I'm better than McCrudden. I grew up in Moscow during the waning years of the Soviet Union. The changing political landscape made it much easier for the news of NHL to filter into his life, which is a really important thing. The Pittsburgh Penguins at the time were the Stanley Cup champs around the 1990s, and Alex became captivated by their star, Mario Lemieux, who's the man. Not only was he inspired by Super Mario's play, not the Super Mario you know from the video games, but also by his battle to overcome cancer. It's truly a compassionate and wonderful, beautiful story. Alex also understood that that kind of physical commitment it would take to become an elite player was necessary. So instead of taking the elevator up to his family's apartment, he would insist on running up the stairs every single day. I dropped dead on the 3rd floor. Despite Alex's passion for the game, his busy parents were not always able to bring him up to the rink. Alex's coaches and his brother Sergei both spoke to his parents, urging them to take his hockey career more seriously. So, from the age 8 on, Alex was good to go, and that's because his skills were unbelievable. His older brother Sergei stepped in and made sure that he could get his little brother wherever he needed to be. He also introduced him to organized hockey, and he enrolled him in hockey school, and soon after, he was invited to join the Dynamo's development program. Alex moved up the ranks in the Moscow Dynamo's competitive youth hockey program. He began to draw the attention with his powerful skating and quick wrist shot. And I've seen this guy play. He skates like the Terminator. He was a hard worker, and though very offensive-minded, which is still very clear today, he was a devoted team player. Remember that. There is no I in team, kids. Alex could raise the spirits with an incredible goal, a pep talk, or an incredible back check. He had that extra dimension as a player and a person, an all-around athlete, that loved his team and believed in his team too, and clearly that came from loving his family and being a product of them being terrific in the sports field. What should have been a year of happiness for him was darkened by the death of his older brother. In his early 20s at the time, Sergei was tragically killed in a car accident. Alex had lost his big brother and his biggest supporter. But his parents encouraged him to still play a game that he was scheduled to play that day. Imagine your brother just dying, your biggest supporter, and yet you gotta go and play the game. He said, I was on the bench, I was crying, but when my shift came up, my coach said, okay, go and play. And I played, and I was crying, and it was hard. But at 10 years old, even though you obviously realize what's happening, it was still so hard. And it was hard for my mom and for my dad, for the entire family, because of our eldest son passed away. It was an extremely hard time. After Sergei's death, Ovechkin said he was more motivated than ever to succeed in hockey, since it was up to just him and his brother, Mikhail, to support their parents as they aged. Not only did he succeed, but Alex was quickly making a name for himself at only 11 years old because he broke Pavel Bure's record of 53 goals by scoring 58 of his own. Ovechkin would go on to play for the Russian hockey-powered Dynamo Moscow, a league mainly believed to be the best in the world after the NHL. On many of his teams, Alex was both the youngest and the best player. It is a tradition in Russia that the youngest player carries the team's sticks. The problem was that after many tournaments, Alex needed a free hand to carry the awards too, because he had so many trophies that he had won. He began his professional hockey career at the age of 16 during the Dynamo's 2001-2002 season, and he led the junior national team to a gold medal. At 17, he was chosen by coach Viktor Tikhonov, I think that's how you say his name, and I'm sorry, to play at the CSKA Pushkinov Cup Euro Tournament. I have a Russian wife, I should know these Russian words. He became, though, the youngest player in history to play for the team. At 2002, in the Under-18 World Championship in Slovakia, the youngest forward led the tournament with 14 goals in only 8 games. He was named captain of the silver medal award-winning team at the World Junior Hockey Championships and was named the best player in the tournament. Ovechkin officially arrived on the international hockey stage in 2003 when he was selected to play for Russia at the World Junior Hockey Championships. He scored a tournament-leading 6 goals to help Russia capture gold. He was only 19, and he was the youngest player in the tournament. Imagine being 19, what a stud. It was this performance that turned a lot of heads in North America. Ovechkin's big breakthrough came in 2003-2004 when he became the youngest player in history to lead the Dynamo in scoring. He netted 23 points in 53 games and was voted the Super League's top left winger. I actually thought it would have been more points. At first glance, his stats may not have seemed too impressive, but when you realize that he was one of the most inexperienced players in a league full of skilled international veterans, it made Alex a shoo-in for the NHL's #1 pick that spring. He fared well in comparison to other top picks, including Joe Thornton and, hang on, that guy. I know Vincent, and he brought all terrific skills to the ice, but Alex was a big guy standing at 6'3" and outweighing them by a good 15 pounds. In anticipation of his move to North America, Alex began watching English language TV. Basically what he wanted to do is learn the language through sports highlights. Imagine that! He shoots, he scores! Your first words in English. By draft day, he was comfortable enough to stumble through interviews without an interpreter. Good for him! The Capitals, they luckily passed the last place Penguins when the lottery balls were pulled in the draft, and it made it official. They had the top pick. Alexander Ovechkin. Ovechkin's dream had finally come true, becoming the first overall selection in the 2004 NHL entry draft by the Washington Capitals. Unfortunately, the season never happened due to labor negotiations, and Ovechkin would have had to wait a little longer before actually appearing in the NHL. It was a strike year, and that sucked for all hockey fans. Imagine being the #1 draft pick and not being able to score goals. Well, while the season was in limbo, there was a dispute between how much money the Capitals owed to the Moscow Dynamos for Ovechkin. Under the NHL's agreement with the International Ice Hockey Federation, the bill should have been $200,000. But the deal was due to expire, and Moscow Dynamo was planning to ask for millions. While waiting for the labor issues to settle, Alex had another outstanding season for the Dynamo. He scored 27 points in 37 games, and he did whatever he could to stay in shape because of the anticipation of the inaugural NHL season. Anyone wondering how quickly Alex would adjust to the NHL got their answer right away. Yeah, he got 1 point in each of his first 8 games of the 2005-2006 campaign, something a number 1 selection had never done before. Alex played hardcore, and hockey fans loved him. They came to see him wherever he was. Many showed up to arenas wearing his black number 8 jersey, which was the hottest seller around the NHL at the time. Sidney Crosby may have been drawing more media attention, but Alex made it clear in the early going that he was every bit the player the Penguins rookie was. Alex officially became an NHL legend in a January game against the Phoenix Coyotes, skating over the blue line. He cut from the right side to the left, and he tried to slip past the defenseman nearing the left circle, but he ended up flat on his back. But he located the puck, and he caught it in the crook of his stick, and he swept over his shoulder past the stunned Mikhail Telquist, and the stunning goal was an instant YouTube classic. It was only appropriate that Wayne Gretzky was ringside to witness this shot. Well, you know it, because this is before they were famous, and thank you to Michael McCrudden for having me. Hi, my name's Todd Shapiro. I host the Todd Shapiro Show on SiriusXM Channel 168 from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays. Go and check it out. You know what? There's a lot of collaborations with your man, Michael McCrudden. He was a regular guest once a week until you guys made him so famous he has no time for me. Well, we have a YouTube channel, YouTube/Todd Shapiro Show. Everything has to have my name in it because I'm very self-centered. That's not true. It's just the easiest thing because I'm not that bright, but I at least know my name. We interview a ton of athletes. So if you got through this entire before they were famous with our man Alexander Ovechkin, come check out our channel because you'll see great videos with Gravis Vasquez, Tyler Seguin, Jeremy Roenick, Theo Fleury, you name it. We've interviewed some great ones in the past and some current legends that are in the making. Check it out. Thank you again for having me, and do me a favor, let everyone know that I was okay because I want to be back. I love Michael, I miss Michael, and the only way I get to see him now is by popping on before they were famous. We'll talk to you soon.